how's everyone doing today? Hey, Dragonfly. Hey, Mike. Hey, Wendy. Thank you so much. And I kind of ate a lot today. Woke up to cheesecake, my favorite dessert, and got a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt. And then I got a sub, nice big foot-long sub. And then I got my cherry Pepsi. So yeah, I'm stuffed. So, nothing much happening around here last week except we got Fatso over at you know where starting her shit. She's still at it. And over at Nikki's last night, I was getting a headache, and I was glad when she ended it because I said, "Okay, bedtime." And I want to thank Jamie tonight for a good stream over on his Scareticulous channel. I really appreciated it. So, last night there was a little misunderstanding. I want to get this. He's 71. Thank you. There was a little misunderstanding last night. Jamie went live. Oh, thank you so much, Jamie. So Jamie went live and reviewed a stream with Robbie. And I was over at Nikki's last night, and I practically told Robbie I don't agree with this and that. Hey, thank you, Honey Bunch. I said I don't agree with this, and this of his critique. And he kind of went at me in chat last night. And I was accused again of basically kissing Jamie's ass, as usual. A lot of people in this community do that. Sad, isn't it? Just because I disagree with someone on a few issues, they got to automatically do a clapback saying that. There are times when I don't agree with Jamie here. Sometimes I walk away. Sometimes I walk away from both of them and say I agree to disagree. Oh, 2 ads? Oh my goodness. I thought you would just get one. So I just wanted to say I'm not taking sides. I'm just telling everyone what I think about it. Okay? I said it in chat last night. And there was a few people that weren't happy. But I'm sorry if I hurt anyone's feelings. That wasn't my intent. I was just yeah, absolutely, Honey Bunch. Absolutely. And the same thing goes for Robbie. If I don't agree with something Robbie does, I'll say it to him. If he wants to listen to it or not. Yeah, I can be an asshole too, Jamie. I can be an asshole. Sometimes. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? So I ate a lot. I had this delicious raspberry cheesecake. Ooh, yummy. I gotta have some more later. Oh, thank you so much, Dave G. The my PayPal, Cash App, and there's always a super chat available for those. So I've been seeing some nasty in the news. Yeah. No, not yet, Jamie. It's not piss stained actually. It's my camera that does it. Unfortunately. Yeah, raspberry cheesecake honey bunch. And then I got a foot long sub. It had chicken on it, cheese, jalapenos, onions, olives, black olives. Ooh, delicious. Then I got cherry flavored Pepsi. Ooh, yummy. And then I got a nice Sonic the Hedgehog t shirt. Which I always loved Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid. So I remember playing on the Sega game. Yeah, I always loved Sonic. So yeah, and then before you knew it, Jamie went live and did an awesome stream today. So thank you, Jamie. So there's a story on here on YouTube. I don't know how accurate this is, or it's just talk on the Supreme Court. So Justice Jackson appears to be a problem, a big problem. If anyone sits there and reads Supreme Court decisions, this is a true crime community after all, isn't it? So if you read her outrageous opinions, and she's always in the dissent column these days, she's getting called out by the other side and even her fellow liberal justices for being a judicial activist of sorts. And she's making quotes from the New York Times. She's making quotes from the New York Times and other liberal publications. And even Justice Kagan and Sotomayor is having problems with her. They can't even sign on to any of her dissents opinions. She makes no legal arguments. None. She just gives her personal opinions on each and everything. It goes before the court. Nothing legal to back it up. And now it's coming out that, oops, she may have not been properly, her nomination papers weren't properly signed. They were signed with the auto pen. Darn it. Sleepy Joe, what were you thinking when you signed up, when you had someone use the auto pen for that? Thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate it. Appreciate the $10. Let's add that to my fund. So Justice Jackson has been a thorn in the other justices' ass. All right. Practically for a long time since she's been nominated. So her nomination papers were signed using the auto pen, which is under investigation. Most of Sleepy Joe's pardons, except for maybe 3 or 4, were signed using the auto pen. Those might not be valid either. However, legal experts are saying, well, it may have been signed, her nomination papers may have been signed with an auto pen, but her nomination went through the Senate. They voted on it in the Senate, so the only avenue they got at this point is impeachment. And I'm like, yeah. Of course. I don't really care about it either, Jamie. No matter which way you blow the smoke, they're all corrupt. Oh, thank you, silly. Yeah, you got a point there, Jamie, you know? So I'm seeing there's a little friction over at Camp Retro. I guess some screenshots came out. That Amy didn't want to get out on their real relationship. So the screenshots that came out, let me see if I can put that on the screen here. Can someone send me Wendy's channel, please? I can't find it. So apparently, Amy and Retro aren't getting along. So I guess Amy's little world. Hey, Alamo. Amy's little world is beginning to fall down. So and over at Natasha's, she's still over there restreaming everyone. Hello, Natasha, if you're restreaming me. I know that you can't get content. You can't get your own content. You can only get it if you restream us. So, okay, thank you, Jamie. So she put up a short today, or this was another So let's put this up on the screen. I just wanted to show this. So here we go. Here's one of her group chats. So they're talking about Retro making shit up out of thin air. So Amy's saying, did Retro make stuff up? So she's saying Retro did make shit up. So Amy's saying things that were not said, but Amber did say things on the call. So now we're back to that infamous phone call that nobody cares about. Amy, let go. All right? Nobody really gives a shit about that phone call anymore. How long ago was that? and then Amy says, I am now mad. When are you not mad? Look at this girl. You know, she's still obsessed. She can't let anything that happened go. She has to keep the fire moving. So they're complaining that Retro is making shit up, and they're being total hypocrites about it, as usual. But isn't Amy the one that makes shit up in her head? With these theories, oh, AJ is Captain Kangaroo with the voice changer. That sounds somewhere out there. That's another one of her conspiracy theories. She made up a bunch of other shit too. She even lied about my arrest, so-called arrest. She said what did she say I did? She said I spit on a cop, which never happened. Yeah, she's the one. Amy's the one that makes shit up too, and they're just deciding in this chat. Let's blame it on Retro, but Retro has no credibility either. So here we go. Here's the receipt that I wanted to bring up, and it looks like Trouble in Paradise. It looks like Trouble in Paradise. So they're sitting there blaming each other for making shit up, and then Amy's mad. Oh, too bad, Buttercup. Get even madder. I don't give a shit. Why do we give a shit about a bunch of hypocrites that just sit there and lie all day? Get a good psychiatrist, Amy. All right? Get a good psychiatrist, Retro. And whoever's left in that little chat of yours. Oh, yeah, Tiffany. She needs a good psychiatrist, too, if they can even help her. But things aren't so cozy over there. So I guess they're fighting behind the scenes. I don't know how old this is, all right? But I'm sure Wendy could answer the question for us since she's the one who posted it. So let me see if anything else pops up over here. Any updates on the Okay, lots of community posts. Okay, this is the only screenshot I found. Okay. So let's let's talk about the cuck for a minute. Since this is where most of the argument started last night. He's an evil, vindictive son of a bitch that wouldn't know the truth if it hit him on the head. He sits there, uses a real lifer to do his bidding. All right. We all know this. We all watch the restreams. When Eli's lips are moving, he's lying. He's exaggerating things. He likes to wants to make you think that his life is picture perfect, and wants to make fun of you because he wants to make you think that he has all this money and you don't. Ha 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 ha. And then he has a slight victory in court, and he can't just take the victory, the so-called shallow victory, and say, "Okay, I'm glad this is over with." He has to gloat and scream and yell like an ungrateful, snotty little cunt that he is. All right, let's just And he says, "Oh, I'll get you next time." If you go back at the clip on the clips, he contradicts himself all the time. He even contradicts himself while he walks. He's a walking contradiction. All right. But this is what I just don't get. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Aurora. This is what I don't get about them over there. You have 8 years of being a failure. And the only one you can blame, all you can do is point the fingers and blame everyone else for it. And I'm sorry, but if you're gonna do a review of that ugly little thing, at least know what the guy's about. I'm not here to say Jamie's picture perfect. Nobody is around here. This is a drama community, for fuck's sakes. I'm not innocent. Jamie's not innocent. Robbie's not innocent. Nikki's not innocent. Nobody is. But there are people in this community that are 10 times, 20 times worse than we'll ever be. You're welcome, Aurora. We have Natasha that likes to stick up nudes on her live stream. Like, oh, that will get them triggered. Oh, yeah. That's lazy and pathetic. You think of someone and that's the first thing that you do. That's low. And then she goes and tries to find their family members' Facebooks, blah blah blah. And then they cry when it's done to them, and I'm like, and then they say the nastiest things. Oh, they sit there and laugh when someone gets allegedly sexually assaulted. They think it's funny. But then they have no content, so they got to resort to restreaming me. They got to restream Nikki. They got to restream Robbie. They even restream Siren, for fuck's sakes. They have no content. Yeah, absolutely. All she does, in my mind, Jamie, is cries for donations because someone did this to her, but she doesn't say what she did to get the clap back. And she is a lazy roaster. She's very, very lazy. She just sits there and says, "Oh, I'm a badass. I'm 400 pounds. I'm not that bright." She grooms a 17-year-old. Her ego is too strong. She says, "Oh, even a 17-year-old wants me." Oh, yeah, Jamie. Her true crime content is boring as fuck. I agree with that 100%. I could do a better job than her any day doing a true crime content. All I got to do is read the text of the case or watch videos for a day or two. And I'm all caught up on a case that's closed. The reason why I don't do true crime too much is because, especially the ones in the news, because there are people that just sit there and then make all these conspiracy theories up and milk it for all they can. Look at Natasha. She sat there and stole from Zab Girl autopsy photos, put them behind a paywall, and it was showing, in my mind, kitty prawn, illegal. And then she wonders why she gets such a clapback. The clapback that she did. She even made the news for it. For the disgusting, pathetic things that she does. It's just amazing to me. And then you got to see the idiots on her panel. You got a chomo. You got a chomo that can't shut up. Claimed she cried the victim over on the He She's channel, Miss Starla. She told the story where she was dating a minor and the mother was homophobic and then filed charges and then took a plea deal. She pled it down to a non-sex offense or something. Yeah, so you have that piece of shit over there. Then you got someone on panel that beats his wife all the time, beats her to a bloody pulp. Then you got someone who told a few people that she killed her kid. She decided to get high in the delivery room and lost her baby. And then she goes on her own channel, cries about it for attention. You got her on the channel, on panel often. And then you have someone that actually killed someone, ran someone over with their car. And they sit there and judge us? Are you freaking kidding me? You sit there and you judge us. When you have you sit there and you cry. Oh, they told the truth again. And then it was shown. Then it was shown on video that guess what? She abused her own children in her care. saying the nastiest shit, cyberbullying the children in her care. Hey, what you Nicole? Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely, Aurora. She has 2 killers on her panel. She has a woman beater. She has a chomo, a resident chomo. You couldn't have a better selection of guests over there. And they sit there and they have nothing to talk about. So they have to sit there and share this stream, share out the live stream, and start come on here. Get your own content, Natasha. You suck at it. It shows if you have a continuously restream everyone. If you have to continuously restream us for your content, then you have nothing. You have nothing. You're unoriginal. You're lazy. You're disgusting. You can't even respect victims of crimes. And then you call yourself, you do true crime. You don't even have compassion. You don't even have compassion for the victims of these awful atrocities that happen every day in this country. No empathy, no compassion, no. It's just give me money. Gimme, 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 gimme. Yeah, Witchy, but here's the thing: they're all on her panel while doing it. It's become Cyberbullies Anonymous. So then her chat goes up and down with the nastiest comments, by the way. Yeah, they're triggered when we tell the truth. So it's okay. It's hunky dory to me. If you want to get triggered because we tell the truth, that's your problem, not ours. I don't have to make shit up. I don't have to make shit up. You people do. Oh, thank you, mushrooms. So if anyone wants to donate to make my birthday even better, oh, here we go. Here's a community post I got to read. So here's what Laura has to say, all right? So we all know that Laura and Queen Bee are fighting, okay? So apparently Queen Bee was caught selling crack to Bullhorn Betty. Busted. That's as truthful as her title. Bitch, no one was caught trolling you, moron. Stop deflecting off your miserable existence. Go make another fake text so you can make them make a super chat goal. Anyone with a brain sees right through you. You are a weak, insecure, miserable, lonely lowlife. Same thing you've always been and will always be. Queen Bee. It's no secret that Queen Bee was caught with I don't know, what was it, dealing crack? So it wouldn't be no surprise to me if she was selling to Bullhorn Betty. Bullhorn Betty is crazy as a. Yeah. Let me see when this community post was made. All right. It was made 1 day ago. So let me put this up on the screen so everyone can see it. This just came in my feed. So here we go. Let's zoom in. So you can see that Queen Bee is tagged, and the accusation is caught selling crack to BHB, which stands for Bullhorn Betty. Busted. I thought Queen Bee was the one who makes all the money around here. I'm kind of confused. So she constantly gets super chats and PayPal's. Why does she have to sell crack to Bullhorn Betty for? Unless they're both still addicted. Who knows with these druggies? I'm not accusing. I'm not going to. I'm not going to accuse Bullhorn Betty or Queen Bee of anything. This is just an accusation. So I guess there's another fight brewing over at Laura's between them two. That's a given. So let's see if there's anything else. Oh, there's Lonnie trying to make a fool of herself, the baby killer. Nobody cares, Lonnie. Let's see here. So now they're claiming that did anyone hear that Star Beetlejuice? Not the movie. The Star Out in Space. Now they're claiming it exploded when supernova. So they're saying that it went supernova 500 years ago, and we just don't know it yet. Look at this clickbait they're putting up on YouTube. Then you click on the then you click on these stories. And is that what the title even talks about? It's just getting to the point where and then some of these true crime some of these true crime. I like to watch true crime on my free time sometimes, and I try to find something like a flashback to an old case or something, or a case that's in the news, or I want to find more information about it. So some of these cases are in the suggested. So a lot of these times I click on these true crime episodes, and I'm like, okay, good story. Looks like a good one. I go through it and they're all fake. Why do they have to everything has to be the gay villain? You know? Or it has to be something completely. Yeah, Aurora. Now I'm trying to find movies with like murder mysteries or something. I used to enjoy Perry Mason and I used to enjoy Matlock, but I watched them all and it just gets boring. Now I watch Law and Order. That's the closest thing I'll get to it. So YouTube is not a good source for, because there were several cases that they profiled. I wanted more information on it and I couldn't find a damn thing. Meaning these stories they make now they're making up true crime stories because there isn't any. And it's like there's plenty of material out there. Why don't you just slap fiction on it? Why don't you put in your description fictional scenario, true crime fiction? There are plenty of good writers out there. Why don't they write a good true crime story that could be turned into a movie or something? But some of these topics that they go through are so taboo. Just like that one movie Jamie talked about. What was it called? The one that nobody wanted to see. That Pixar movie. Does anyone remember? What it was called? Something I never go watch. These woke. Yeah, they're like, I know, they're like that. And I'm like, you call this entertaining? You call this damn entertainment? Oh yeah. So I'm hearing that. What you did last summer. I'm seeing more reviews on it, and I'm hearing that movie is not even worth seeing. I watched the first one, and it was all right, but nah, they don't know how to make good movies anymore. I'll say that. They don't know how to make a good script. Some of these movies I'm watching, Some of these newer movies, I watch 15 to 20 minutes and I'm turning them off. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that I have to turn off 10 movies in a row just to get something decent. At least in the 90s and the 2000s, early 2000s, and in the 80s, they had better writers. In some of these shows and some of these movies. Why don't they go back to that? They don't have to write um, the same scripts. Just go on quality content. A relatable characters. The only good there's very few good shows on. It's like now I like sex as much as anyone else. I like a little bit of nudity, but that just doesn't make a movie or a TV show. I'd rather watch some I'd rather watch something that has substance to it or a good storyline. Yeah, you know, Witchy. I'd rather watch something. Some of these older movies, which Nicole, I never watched because I wasn't allowed to watch them growing up. You know, early '90s, late '80s, I was allowed to watch them. So it's like if I see a movie from that time, I might just click watch on my TV, and 9 times out of 10, it's a good movie. Now it's I'm so glad I got I'm so glad for this technology with the Roku stick or the Amazon TV where you can just sit there, pay a monthly subscription or pay nothing. And if you watch the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie and you don't like it, you can just turn it off and pick something else. You know, it's like back in the 80s and 90s, we had Blockbuster Video. Everyone remembers that place, right? In Hollywood Video, we had to spend how many dollars, $2, $3 for a video rental. And if the movie sucked too bad, you wasted your money. Now you just pay maybe for 3 or 4 video rentals a month, and then you get like hundreds of videos to choose from. And besides, well, Witchy Nicole, when I turned about 12, 13, then I was allowed to watch rated R movies. That was if my mother watched the movie and says, "Okay, there's only cuss words in it." Because back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was rated R. If you said the word fuck one time, or you used cunt or another word, it was rated R. There's no way around it. So my mother noticed the pattern, and she says, "This ain't that bad from a movie. Why is it rated R?" So my mother had a bunch of them, on video that she bought at the store, and then she would give me, and then she says, "Okay, you can watch this bunch," and then she would say, "Okay, you can't watch this and you can't watch that because it had nudity in it." You get what I'm saying? Oh, Porky's. Oh dear, what you call? I didn't like that movie. I never liked it. I never liked that movie one bit. There's this movie. There were several movies that were like, yeah, here. Oh, it was the same way here, which Nicole, if it was considered too violent, then I wasn't allowed to watch either. If it was extremely, extremely violent, and probably I didn't want to watch that either. I just don't like the movies where it's so gross and disgusting. You know the feeling, Witchy. You know the feeling in your stomach where the screen makes you want to puke. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, it was like my mother let me watch Beverly Hills Cop. That was one of my first rated R movies I watched. I was like laughing, and then it was Child's Play, Chucky movies. I actually went to see Bride of Chucky at the movies. I was like, yeah, the real gross ones. I didn't like. With bees all over you or maggots eating your guts. Those are the movies I don't like. Those are the movies I don't like. Oh, thank you so much, Bernie. I really appreciate it. Yeah, those are the movies I don't like. If it has mild violence, yeah, especially the gory ones. I can't stand those. I could deal with vampires biting your head off or something, or draining your blood or something. I could deal with that. Or I could deal with werewolves or somewhat animal attacks. I just don't know what some of these movie producers get out of grossing out an audience. And does everyone remember the sex scenes? Those ain't that bad. I went to see Scream 1 and 2, I think, at the movies. That was more of a who done it type of movie. You're trying to guess who's the killer. I like those type of movies. Where you have to guess, you have a bunch of characters and you have to see who did it at the end. Yeah, The Exorcist wasn't. Some of these movies aren't made exactly. But then you go to the old sex scenes in the movies, and I'm just going to say it as is. I'm not trying to be provocative here or anything. But do you notice in the movies, maybe Sarah can put more context into this, but they look so fake. They look too fake. You know, it looks like it doesn't look like anything that you do in real life when they put these snippets in. I know they're I know it this is I know they're supposed to be acting. However, they still do it in a manner which looks, in my opinion, fake. Can they do a more convincing job of doing it? Really? There's one movie I watched a while back. It was The Watchers. And that was like if you really do your research, Witchy, it's not that accurate. If you really do your research. And I'm actually gonna do a video. I think I'm gonna record it later. And I'm gonna explain that movie on what's real and what's not. Because so The Watchers is a movie. It's in several parts. All right. It's the theme of the movie is, anyone hear of the Anunnaki? Or the legends? So they take that idea and they paint them as evil. And so these world governments are scared of the Anunnaki. These world leaders are scared, and then they'd have, and then there's, and then they pose, the Anunnaki pose as another extraterrestrial faction, saying, "Oh, you get what I'm saying?" They're like, it's like a big con job of Earth. And what they're doing is they're selling fear to hey Wyoming. So what they're doing in that movie is they're sowing seeds of doubt and paranoia into Earth's society. Because guess what? They're not that educated, are they? These people are not educated on who the Anunnaki are. But if you really want a good explanation for that, there is no, yeah, absolutely, Nick, what you Nicole. You're absolutely right. But there's no such thing as the Anunnaki, which you Nicole. It's human invention, so to speak. So do you know where that word came from, which you Nicole? Do you know where that word Anunnaki comes from? It's actually translated. It actually translates to sky gods or princely offspring. It's a compound word in in the Sumerian, Akkadian, Eurasian languages. You know, the cuneiform. So what they are talking about, in my opinion, in the scripts or the stories, is they're talking about beings that came from the sky, and the word they're using is Anunnaki. And Zacharias Sitchin mistranslated the word or couldn't translate the word properly. So he called this group of deities the Anunnaki, which don't exist. It's a human mistranslation. He thought that this group were called the Anunnaki, but were not called that. Does anyone know? All right. Does anyone know who they really were? Who these Mesopotamian deities really were? I'm sure if anyone gets it, it'll be Witchy or Aurora. Anyone know? So, those stories on the stone tablets in Iraq, Iran, those were the first settlers of Atlantis. Did everyone know that? Sort of, Witchy Nicole. That was actually a big accident, so to speak. That was an accident. They didn't. They were doing some work, and they says, "Oops, we turned off 10 strands of DNA on humans, and they didn't know how to reverse the process." On the Earth, humans. So what they thought they could, and it rarely happens, which you call throughout the galaxy or the Andromeda galaxy or neighboring galaxies. It rarely happens. When an incident like that happens, it only happened like a handful of times in maybe 30 million years. So there was no way, they had no clue. No, none of these civilizations had no clue on how to fix it. So their answer for it was interbreeding. Okay, let's mix our DNA with theirs. Let's see how that works. But that didn't fix it. They didn't totally fix the problem. And so, according to the story, I got this from several sources. Yeah, there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There are lots of conspiracies out there. However, I got this from several sources from the paranormal community. There's absolutely no answers, complete answers out there. You got the stone tablets there. I believe that those are history. They're writing down their history. You know how we write down in our history books? But they're written in a way that the people would understand. And then we read them today and they sound way out there. We're taking them out of total context. Like the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s. They might dismiss them and say, "Oh, there's no such thing as many gods." So these histories are totally dismissed when they say, and then today we reevaluate it. So wait a minute, there's no such thing as many gods. What are they talking about? Are they talking about advanced civilizations that the Earth humans viewed as gods? Is this just a point of view? So what happened when these sky gods arrived was they covered a large area. It's basically today's Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and it was much greener than it is now. Much greener. There was a big area between the Tigris and Euphrates. And it went all the way in the Mediterranean. Many of these areas are under sand. Yeah. So when they got here, a lot of these colonists got here, they split into two groups. They had a big disagreement on how to handle Earth humans. There were humans on this planet that were native here. Those were actually genetically engineered by another civilization and left here to their own devices. That's just a totally different topic. But they got here, they disagreed. So half the population decided to split off and go to the continent which we call Atlantis, which actually fell around 13,000 years, 14, which ended the last ice age. And I'd say, and they're saying that over 95% of people died on that continent. Nobody listened to the warnings. Very few people listened to the warnings. And the few survivors actually went to Egypt and they went to Morocco, the Atlas Island, the Atlas Mountains. And many of the people that were on the east side, they left the planet. In practically utter disgrace. They left the Sumerian people and they just picked up and left, and then there was the Sumerian people. So after Atlantis, so this is what I'm hearing from several different sources. I'm hearing after Atlantis fell, there was a big world war. Okay. There were like civilizations, I think it was by continent and by region of continents. You wouldn't call them countries today, but they were fighting over who's in charge because Atlantis is gone. And there was no winner to the war. Because guess what? They all had the same technology. They all, it was like it was like if it kept going, all they're going to do is blow each other up. So I think a group had some piece of cords, and they had to give up a lot of their technology because they were irresponsible with it. So what happened? We downgraded big time, and some of the things that they did have, which they did keep, they became luxury items. Like for the super rich to afford, and the normal person probably couldn't afford it. What we call like luxury items, such as fine rugs or some of these technologies, which are some of them what they found in Egypt. Some of these technologies that they found in Egypt are actually quite simple. They found these jars that glowed for a very long time. I think one was burning for 1,200 years. One of these pots, and it actually looked like a lamp. I think there were several of them in the pharaoh's tombs. So wouldn't that tell you that they had more back then? And then there was the tragedy of Alexandria. That place was looted and burned down. I'm sure they took some of the remaining items to Rome. Some of the books and that they wanted to keep. But practically by 200, the Library of Alexandria was no more. Who knows? Roman soldiers could have came in and looted the place, sent books back to Rome. So that's the story on that. I'm gonna make a brief video on it, just summarizing it. But they think they finally found Cleopatra's tomb. So apparently, I don't know if this is clickbait or it's actual news, but they found a mummy. They DNA tested it, and it's from the Ptolemy or whatever you want to call it family. And they don't have an actual DNA sample of Cleopatra herself. However, some of the items that are in the from her period actually matches. So they think it's Cleopatra's tomb. They can't be 100% sure. It looked like, but however, I will say this: if there's a familiar match with the DNA, you have the coins from her era, you have statues in there. But wasn't Cleopatra the last pharaoh? And Egypt fell in a hurry when the Romans invaded. So maybe they didn't have a whole lot of time to put her in her tomb, and so they didn't spend a lot of time painting the walls, or they just put her in her sarcophagus and closed the door. There's a lot of Greek language, and there's a lot of writing in the Greek and Egyptian language. It's bilingual, and they said in the video it looks strange. So I don't know if it's clickbait. I tried looking, and there was a few articles, but and then we had those scans of the underneath the pyramids, and it's like you really needed, yeah, basically mummified. Absolutely. It's like they were mummified, put in the sarcophagus with a tomb that was half finished. So they can't tell if it's Cleopatra or not based on the walls. According to the several videos I watched of the discovery. So now it comes down to the pyramids of Giza. So we heard all these ridiculous theories of how the pyramids, they think they were built. However, they still can't tell us how they were built without cranes, without modern tools. Since the 1800s, they still couldn't explain it. How they were so perfectly aligned, the blocks. No hieroglyphics in the pyramids. The walls are bare. So now we have scans from underneath that show, okay, we got pillars underneath the pyramids that are bigger than the Empire State Building. Now, and they're circular. And then there's a big pit. There's two big pits underneath there, underneath the complex. So this wasn't just a construction. You build foundation and then you just build up. It wasn't like that at all, according to these scans. What this means is they built from underground up. And they built over 2,000 feet from the ground up. Okay, they built from 2,000 feet up, and there are 16 of them, more than 16. So they either had to build a huge pit, they had to dig a huge pit, at least 2,000 feet deep, with another pit or crack, which goes for a mile deep, another mile or two down. They either had to dig a hole in the limestone of those dimensions and then cover it up afterwards. Or part of the complex was below sea level in the first place, and they built it up over time. Either or, wouldn't you have to have some knowledge of how to do that? The Zawi Hawass tries to imply that the Egyptians were stupid. Oh, they did it all with Stone Age tools, with basic chisels and ropes. Yet he can't even demonstrate how they did it with that. None of the Egyptologists can do that. Can they? So it's pretty these LiDAR, these scans or whatever. I don't know if they're called LiDAR or what it's called. They're from space. It's forcing a reevaluation on how they were built. So I'm gonna go now. And I'll see everyone maybe tomorrow or the next day. I don't stop into Nikki's first. So please sit there. Please donate to my birthday fund. It's scrolled at the bottom, or is it my description? And I'll see everyone another time. All right.